folks, this is Jason once again for MrTheBigMan.net. Today I want to show you sidechaining in 3 different programs. I didn't want to just do it in Reason because I know that not everybody has it. I know most people will use Abletone Live, and most people like me on the Mac will use Logic Pro. So this particular tutorial will cover all 3 of those programs. Now what I've done is essentially I've set up a loop in a Dr. Octorex. I'll just click on it now. As you can hear, it's just a straightforward tambourine loop, but it'll give me a great idea to show you how the sidechain capabilities work on this particular thing. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to bring in a redrum. I don't want this to be linked to anything, so in order to do that I drag and hold shift, and you'll see at the back it's not linked at all. There's no cables going anywhere at this particular stage. I want to set up a decent kick drum on this, so I will try and find one if I can. Probably not. That one will do. I'm just going to set it up again, each beat of the bar. I normally work in 4/4, so this is why I'm doing it. All you'll hear now is the tambourine. You won't hear the actual kick drum loop itself, and that's because we want to set it up as a sidechain source. So how we do that is we need to be able to take this kick drum and put it and route it to a variety of different places. So we'll go back to the tool window, and you'll see here Spider, Audio, and Merger. Again, I'm going to hold shift so that it doesn't link into anything, and we'll see it here. I'm going to go to the back of the rack, and I'm going to take the output of the kick drum, and I'm going to drag it down into the input of the Spider. Now what I'm going to be able to do is take that output and make it available on these 4 outputs. So I'm going to drag this across to here, and drag this across to here, and we'll see now that this is being routed from here across into here into these particular outputs. So as far as the Dr. Rex machine is concerned, what I want to do now is put that through a compressor, because it's sidechain compression is how we'll create the pumping effect. So I'm going to go back into the tool window. I'm going to go back up and find the compressor. I'm going to put it in here between the 2. I'm going to hold shift again, and I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to go round to the back. This time I'm going to take this output here, and I'm going to take it off. I'll take the output from here, put it into the input of the compressor, and then I'm going to take, let's see where the input goes here. The input here. So I'm going to take the input from the output from the compressor, and I'm going to drag that all the way up, and I'm going to put that into the input of the combinator. So we'll see now if I press play, we're still getting the tambourine loop coming through. However, what I can do now is take one of these outputs from here, which is the kick drum, and I can route it into the sidechain input of the compressor itself. If I press on play, you can see here the kick drum. So if I put the ratio up to full, you should hopefully be able to hear now that that's ducking the actual sound itself. So the kick drum itself will hit on the start. This will duck down in order for the kick drum to poke through properly. And all we've got to do now is essentially play with the threshold control, and that will give us a desired amount of sidechain. Okay, so now we're going to look at Ableton Live. Now I should point out I have a cut down version of this that I got with my Focusrite USB sound card. So I use this generally as a 8-track more than anything else. But I'll show you how we do sidechain compression. So I just want to show you the overall. I've got a sound or a loop on this particular portion of the track, and I've also got an impulse, which is giving me that kick drum sound again that I needed. I'm just going to take that out because we don't need to hear that. I'm just going to use that for routing purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to select the compressor and put it onto the loop track. You'll see that down here. If we click on this wee arrow, it'll give us a sidechain source. We click on sidechain, and I want the input to come from impulse. So I can see it here, and it's coming in on post effects, so we can hear it from this point. So if I play the loop, we can see the kick drum moving in and out, and if I move the threshold, you can see the kick drum starting to come down here. I'm going to up the ratio, and we can hear the sidechain working there. And again, it's just a case of changing the way that this works. If I put this on, we can hear now that it's got a really nice groove in and around the kick itself, but the kick is just coming through really nicely. And that's how we sidechain in Abletone Live. Okay folks, so I've now got Logic open. I want to show you how to set this up in Logic because for some reason it only works through buses. I could be wrong on that one, so don't quote me on it. What I've done is essentially I've set up an AXS sampler. I'll show you that here. That just has an acoustic kick drum on it. And I have got a trigger source which is here, which is essentially the same again, just triggering it on the beat from there. So what I want to be able to do now is I want to be able to take a sound and I want to be able to sidechain that. I've set up a guru here with a loop. I'll just play that now. I can. Fairly straightforward sound. What I want to be able to do now is close that off and go to my inserts on that particular channel. Now one thing I need to tell you about this trigger is you'll see here it's now outputted the bus 1, so I've sent it out to a bus, and you'll see that along the bottom here, sidechain bus. Essentially that sound, if I mute this, you can see that this is now being triggered and is up in here, and that's where it's being kept essentially from there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the inserts, I'm going to go to dynamics, and I'm going to choose compressor, I'm going to choose stereo. And that's going to give me a stereo compressor in order to be able to do the sidechain compression. So what I'm going to do is the sidechain here, I'm going to select the bus that's connected to, which we already know is bus 1. So the sidechain now will accept the kick drum coming from here, coming through into the bus, into the actual compressor itself. Now if I press play, we aren't really seeing anything at this particular point. So I'm going to turn the ratio up again, full. And I'm going to start. Now you can see that the kick drum is now coming through as I lower the threshold. And as you can hear, the sidechain compression then is starting to react on that. So once we put a kick drum over the top of that, we'll get a really nice rhythm out of that particular sound. That's the end of the tutorial on sidechaining. I hope it was useful. Certainly very useful for me in Reason. Thanks very much.